Just as the continent is recovering from the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, it now battles the effects of the Russian invasion of Ukraine that's led to a high cost of living for many. The World Bank says poverty reduction trends, which were already derailed by the pandemic, have slowed further. The slowing global economy is not supportive of the continent as demand for commodities is slowing.
I think the reason why Africans should care about slow growth is the following. So our countries actually trade a lot with the rest of the world. So African countries sell cocoa, coffee, copper, oil and gas to the rest of the world. So if the rest of the world is growing slowly, it means that there is not a lot of demand for the exports from Africa, and the prices they're going to get is lower. So what that means is the income that Africans get for their commodities, for their exports, is going to be lower. That's income you can't spend on education, on health, on transportation, right? In other words, to make on investments that actually are very important for African populations.
The World Bank says the rising inflation is weighing on economic activity in Sub-Saharan Africa, and inequality within countries in the region has widened with rising fuel and food prices.
I think it's really, really important that our policymakers bring inflation under control. But how can we do that? So the central bankers have an important role to play because that's their mandate. In fact, that's their job description. And the way they usually do this is to increase interest rates. So this is, what you have to pay in order to borrow to build a house, to buy a car, to build a factory or something like that. And the reason they do that is to cool the economy down so that supply can catch up with demand.
The World Bank says the fiscal space to respond to growing challenges is almost depleted in some countries and that policymakers have few coping mechanisms. It says this is because of high levels of debt across sub-Saharan African countries, the rising borrowing costs and depleted public savings. Gloria Sefakomosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.